their 8th straight loss, the Grizzlies have parted ways with second-year head coach David Fizdale. Tonight, Memphis general manager Chris Wallace said in part that a change was necessary to give the team its best chance at success. Fizdale's fame grew after an epic post-game playoff rant last year during the playoffs. Yet, he becomes the second coach to lose his job this season, and he did it without playing with Mike Conley for 7 games. Last night, Fizdale did have Marc Gasol available. However, Gasol didn't get off the bench during the fourth quarter, only watching as the Nets beat the Grizz. While Gasol attempted, at least tried to contain some of his emotions, he said just enough last night to let us know he was not pleased with the benching.
I hate not playing, and that's what I value the most. If I'm not on the floor, it means I'm not valued, and that, you know, I'm sure they knew that would hurt me the most. So I'm sure they wouldn't do it to Mike, but it's just the way it is, and you have to deal with it. And I'm not just going to lay down and take it. I'm not going to do that.
Now J.B. Bickerstaff takes over just as he did when Kevin McHale was fired in Houston, just 11 games into the 15-16 season. Let's bring in David Aldridge here to talk about all of this. DA, Marc Gasol ranks first or second in nearly every statistical category in Memphis Grizzlies history. What was last night him telling management and ownership, I don't want David Fizdale to be the head coach anymore?
Well, you know, whether or not that was the tipping point or whether or not he was, you know, precise with his language to management after the reporters left, the net is that, you know, one of the star players, as you mentioned, probably the best player in franchise history, and the head coach were not seeing eye to eye. They were not even talking to each other, from what I understand. And the record in these sorts of things is, you know, star player 8 billion, coaches 3, and those 3 coaches are Red Auerbach, Bill Jackson, and Greg Popovich. So that's the way it is in the NBA, and you know, the Grizzlies can say all they want that this has nothing to do with Marc Gasol, but it has almost everything to do with Marc Gasol and him not being happy at how he was being used, or in the case of Sunday night's game, not used down the stretch by David Fizdale.
DA, we want to look towards last year's playoffs where the Grizzlies were just really phenomenal, giving the Spurs all they could handle. We want to look at the body of work with Fizdale in Miami and having a big influence on LeBron and D-Wade. But as you and I talked, I think it was 3 weeks ago here on the set, about, you know, it seemed like there'd been something brewing here for a while. And last night wasn't just the only thing that set off Marc Gasol, right? You don't fire a coach after one thing. This has to be something that had been building for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Jarrett. Look, I mean, the first thing that David Fizdale wanted to do was to stop playing exclusively through Marc Gasol. He wanted Marc Gasol to be able to step out and shoot threes and kind of introduce, you know, the more modern, you know, 4-out, 1-in type of game in the NBA that most everybody plays now. Now, Gasol did it. He shot a lot of threes last year. I don't know that means he was happy about doing it, but he did it, you know. And as you mentioned, the Grizzlies got to the playoffs, and they had a great series against San Antonio. And David Fizdale, I think, endeared himself to the fan base in Memphis forever with Take That for Data and all the other things he said. That makes today even more surprising to me. It's not that you don't expect that to happen when a player and the star and the coach don't get along, but, you know, Memphis is a unique market. It's very, very in tune with its fan base, and the fan base adored David Fizdale. And while Marc Gasol is still a very good player, an all-star caliber player, Marc Gasol is 32. And so it surprises me that an organization that hired David Fizdale to kind of help them come into a more fast-paced type of NBA game would then kind of stop that experiment less than 2 years into it. Now, that's their right, and they have to live with all the players down there. But as you mentioned, you know, Conley's been hurt, so it's just odd that this is the way that it ended. It ended like this today. Yeah. I'm not saying it couldn't or wouldn't have ended like this, you know, eventually. I just think this is a little sudden for it to end this way.